Hey guys, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast where you learn how to create a beautiful home and build a creative business. Grab a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot in the house, and let's chat. I'm excited you're here. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Jennifer Allwood Show. I'm super excited to be here with you again this week. I just love podcasting so much. I was talking to my friend Carrie Rabina the other day, and I was telling her, I wish I had started podcasting sooner. I cannot believe this is already episode 64, but gosh, it's just a sweet spot of my week every week. Does that make sense? My week every week. Figuring out how I can be a blessing to women and female creatives, and what I can do to try to bring some value and some insight into things that'll move the needle in your business. So I'm glad to be here and can't wait to talk with you again today. So I'm super excited about this topic. Let me just say that first of all. And I get a lot of questions concerning this. And so I think you're going to enjoy it. We're going to talk about what to do when people want to pick your brain, or what to do when they want to meet for lunch, or what to do when they want to grab coffee, or what to do when they want to follow you around for the day. And listen, I know a lot of you business owners, as your businesses begin to grow, especially in the online space, you will get more and more requests for people who are wanting to pick your brain. And I know it can be challenging to determine how to respond to them. So we're going to talk about that today. So buckle in. It's going to be a really fun podcast. But first, I just want to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by Creators Roadmap, which is my very own 6-week-long course that has helped hundreds and hundreds of creatives make money online. Creators Roadmap launches again, opens to the public on April the 29th. So if you are hearing this recording before then, I want you to go to creatorsroadmap.com. And you can be notified when the course reopens. There's a free video workshop that will certainly be a blessing to your business that you can sign up for. And we'll send you some great information on how to grow your business online, some of the different ways you can grow your business online. There's also a snazzy little quiz to determine if your business is in jeopardy of scaling. So there is that. I'm excited to bring Creators Roadmap back to you all. So back to the podcast. What to do when people want to pick your brain. Okay, so some of you have probably been on both sides of that question, all right? Many of you have probably been asked if someone can pick your brain, and some of you have probably also been the asker, right? You've been the one that has asked people, hey, can I just pick your brain? I know I have done that myself, but here's the problem with the, can I pick your brain, or could I meet you for a coffee, okay? Or my favorite, the, can I follow you around for a day? I'm actually shocked about how many times I get asked that. The problem is this: in today's busy, busy, busy world, everyone's so busy. Time is one of the most very valuable things that we have. Am I right? Like when I think of what would I like for Mother's Day coming up? I'd like time just to do nothing all day. Maybe go get a massage, maybe go get my nails done. Like time. I love vacations because it's time away. I love the fact that it's the middle of April and we're getting snow in Kansas City. Why? Because I love forced downtime. I love forced family time. Time is just such a precious commodity in the world today. And so for me personally, I know that when someone asks me if they could, meet me for lunch or meet me to grab a coffee, the first thing I always think of is, dude, if I've got time for lunch, it's going to be with one of my best friends. It's going to be with my best friend, Laura. It's going to be with my best friend, Rachel. I'm going to take my mom out to do something. Coffee or lunch sounds great. But if I have the time for coffee or lunch, it's going to be with someone that I'm already in a relationship with. It's not going to be with a complete stranger, okay? Because it's precious to want to spend time with people and want to invest in their future. I get that. But those sorts of meetings and taking that time is not going to help you to pay your mortgage or your payroll or anything else, okay? And unfortunately, most of the time, the asker, the one saying, hey, can I pick your brain, is usually someone that you honestly have no relationship with. They probably follow you on social media. They've probably been watching very closely what you're doing. They've probably seen your business grow exponentially. And they probably are very well-meaning people, all right? And so, or maybe they do know you. Let me say that also. Maybe they know you, but maybe they don't really understand boundaries. Maybe they They really aren't aware of the fact that to say you want to pick someone's brain, there's other ways of going about doing that. Let me just say that, okay? And I talk more about that in the article I have on my blog, which is called Just Say No. So if you go to the jenniferallwood.com, just-say-no, you can find a little more information about some of my feelings on boundaries in business, all right? So what I see happen over and over and over again is that people will want to pick your brain, and really sweet creatives or business owners will feel super obligated, number one, okay? But they're already really short on time. But they feel like, gosh, I want to be nice. I want to invest in other people. I want to help. I have a heart, to see other people be successful because I have the same heart. And then they end up spending a lot of time, a lot of free time on other people. And it ends up at some point getting a person to the point where then they just have a gut ache about it. Like, okay, I got to quit doing this. I got to quit giving away my time for free because I've got a family that wants to see me and friends that want to see me. And I'm investing in complete strangers. And while I want to see their business be successful and I want to be a cheerleader for other people's business, now I just have a gut ache. I just have a tummy ache. Like I just feel sick to my stomach because I just spent the last hour with a complete stranger online when I could have been spending that time on my own business. And so now I just feel irritated on the inside. Am I right? Does this resonate with anyone? And I already know that it does because I bet I've gotten 100 emails on this in the last couple of years. So what are we to do, right? What are we to do as influencers, as online personalities, as personal brands, as successful business owners? What are we supposed to do when people say, can they pick our brain? Like, what would be the best way to handle that? I feel like some really great advice for you. So for some of you, you might want to grab a pen and a paper. You know that I always say that note takers are history makers. I'm pretty sure I stole that from my friend Nicole Walters, but I'd have to really ask her. I heard it somewhere. I've always said it's Nicole. I'm not even sure. We'll just say Nicole because she's a superstar. So number one, first, I want you to recognize that your advice and your knowledge are so valuable. So when someone says to you, hey, can I pick your brain? I want you to stop and immediately think to yourself, okay, wait a second. What they're wanting from me right now is super valuable. I'm about to give them shortcuts and things that'll help get them a quick win, things that are going to help get them a breakthrough. And this is like precious information, right? I want you to remember that. Most of you creatives, and I'm going to include, let me rephrase that. Most of us creatives, we have to constantly remind ourselves that God could have made me an astronaut. He could have made me a dentist. He could have made me a doctor. He could have made me an accountant. He could have made me anything. Instead, he saw to it that I would be a creative. And no other people on the face of the planet work for free. But creatives always have this this struggle, it seems like, with money. And so we have to keep in mind that the thing that we do, the thing that we make, the thing that we create, the painting, the glittering, the wreath making, the jewelry, the whatever, there is value and worth in those things, and we should not give away the farm and how we built the farm for free, okay? So first off, when somebody says, hey, can I pick your brain? I want you to first stop. Instead of the stop, drop, and roll, I want you to stop, drop, and remember, okay, that your advice and your knowledge are super, super valuable. Next, I want you to follow your gut, okay? Because there's been plenty of times in my business when God has said, hey, girl, take some time with this one. Give her some stuff here. And when I follow that, the Lord's always so faithful. All right. So I want you to go with your gut. If you feel like the requester is just really wanting to take advantage of you, I want you to go with your gut in that area too. Okay. So your gut can never lead you wrong. Holy Spirit, God whispers, God nudges. They can never lead you wrong. So always listen to those. So when you get the request, hey, can I pick your brain? You have a couple of options that I want to talk about. Here's where I want you to take the notes, okay? Number one, you can super sweetly decline, okay? I think sometimes we get stuck here because we're thinking to ourselves, no, this is not something I want to do. And I don't know how to tell her or him who's asking, okay? So I'm going to give you just a little phrase here, all right? You ready for it? Write this down, okay? So you can respond to the DM, to the Facebook message, to the text. You can respond to the email. You can respond to the phone call with this. Oh gosh, Okay. Oh gosh, this sounds so sweet. Oh gosh, as much as I would love to, my schedule just doesn't have the bandwidth right now. Okay. Anytime you can throw the word bandwidth into a sentence, by the way, you just sound like double smart. So go ahead and just steal the word bandwidth, take it and put it in wherever is applicable. Okay. So I'm going to say that again. Oh gosh, as much as I'd love to, my schedule just doesn't have the bandwidth right now. And there you go. You don't have to say anything else. Like, I think so often we feel like we have to say no and why. And the truth is, no is a complete sentence. It can just be, I don't have the time right now. The end. Thank you for asking, but I don't have the time right now. And there needs to be no other explanation. Okay. So that's one option. The second option, brace yourselves, you ready? Is that you can say, absolutely, you can pick my brain. And let them know that you offer a couple of ways they can pick your brain, okay? You offer consultations. You offer one-on-one coaching. Or you could even do something super sexy like make a pick your plan or pick your brain plan that you could actually like have for sale on your website. These are actual real things. Now, half of you are freaking out as you hear me talking right now. And your first gut instinct is, Jennifer, I could never charge people to let them pick my brain. Oh yes, honey, you can. And oh yes, you should and you need to because you have a family to feed. You have kids that want to go to college someday. You have bills to pay off. You have a minivan that needs new tires. You want to go to Hawaii this year, dang it. And you have got value in between those sweet, precious ears of yours. You have to remember your value, ladies. Before you freak out, remember your value. Also, remember that when people don't have skin in the game, meaning when they have not put down any money to get knowledge from other people, most of the time they do not take it seriously. In fact, the majority of the time they do not take it seriously. Listen, I personally have added so many people for free to my coaching programs because of various situations that I won't go into here. But I felt compelled to. I mean, we all feel compelled to be kind and to give, right? 95% of the people that I have added for free to my program have never done a thing with it. Have never done a thing with it. They've maybe listened to one training ever, and that's it. They are still in the same place they were 2 years ago when I added them to my group for free out of the goodness of my heart. It's because they don't have any skin in the game. I liken it back to when I went to college, okay? I got an academic scholarship to go to college out of high school because I was semi-smart. I wasn't brilliant by any means, but I could hold my own in a testing environment. So I got a scholarship. Get to college, and friends, I have never had so much fun in my life as I did that first year of college. I lost my ever-loving mind, like a lot of 17 and 18-year-olds do. And so I blew my scholarship the first year, which is nothing that I'm proud of, but I also know that everything has led me to where I'm at today, so it's okay. Went back to college when I was 25. Now, when I'm 25, I'm paying for school now out of pocket. Do you have any idea how much more seriously I took it? Because now I had some skin in the game. The first college was offered to me for free. The second college, I had to actually pay for every single cent. And when I had to pay for it, baby, you can bet your bottom dollar I was taking it more seriously. So when you tell people that, yes, they can pick your brain, but you have a consultation fee or set up a coaching call that is paid, or you have a pick your brain plan that they can buy, now they have skin in the game. They will take your advice so much more seriously when they have to actually whip out a credit card to get that advice from you, okay? So remember that a lunch date and a coffee date and a pick your brain or whatever, it does not pay for your bills, my friend. Remember also that doctors, attorneys, plumbers, they all charge for consultations, and creatives should too. For some reason though, we fall into this weird but I can't because I'm nice, because it feels awkward. But baby, so does bankruptcy. That feels awkward. So does having to take out loans for things that you would like to pay cash for. That feels awkward. So I want to help get you over your awkwardness. And I already know some of the objections that you guys have. As soon as I talk about one-on-one coaching, as soon as I talk about charging for consultations, I already know. And I already know because I already walked through it myself. 4 years ago when I started doing things like this. I already know. And so we cover in the Creators Roadmap course, which again launches on April the 29th, we cover one-on-one coaching, we cover consultations, and I go deeply into the topic in the course. But I want to also go into it here on this podcast for you and give you some really practical tips on how you can change your thinking and how you can add some money into your business, okay? So I know the objections that are going into your head. Instantly, some of you are saying, I don't know what to charge. And here's what I'm going to say. Nobody knows what to charge when they first start. So what you have to do is you have to figure out what feels right. What would make you feel like it was a win? Would it be 30 minutes for $30? Would you feel like that would be worth it for me? Would it be an hour for $100? What would it be? I know that I have a woman in my inner circle who is starting out by charging $40 for a 30-minute call with her, and she is thrilled. So figure out what you would want to charge. And remember, creatives, very few things on this side of heaven are permanent. So if you do a couple of consultations for $50 for 30 minutes and you're like, okay, that's not enough, well, then you raise your rates. Honey, nobody's watching your business that closely. Or if they are, let them watch. You own your own business. Am I right? You can change the rules of the game any old time you want to. That is the beauty of owning your own thing. You don't have the rules that are, attached to corporate America in terms of how to get things changed. Baby, when you own your own business, you just change it. So start with a number that feels right to you. I know I personally have paid up to $600 an hour for an hour of consultation. And I can tell you it was the best $600 I have ever spent on my business. And I mean that with everything in me. I've also charged $600 an hour for me to consult with other people. And I would hope that there would be women who are listening to this right now who I have actually consulted with who will say, gosh, that was some of the best money I ever spent. You have to remember that as someone who knows a few things, as a business owner, as someone who's being successful in their business, those shortcuts are so valuable, my friends. Getting people from A to B so much quicker. I'll pay $600 every day of the week for someone to help fix whatever is my point of being stuck in my business right now. So I want you to think of a price that would make it feel really worth it for you. And then I want you to start with that, remembering that you can always change, okay? Second objection, I already know what you're thinking in your head is, Jennifer, I don't know how to set this up. Girlfriend, you don't need to. Remember, us as creative people, we're not techie, remember? So we're going to do what's easy and what works for all creatives. So you don't have to set up some sexy sort of, program. You could use Acuity where they actually pencil in their time with you. Girls, keep it simple, okay? I love it that Mr. Magic says, keep it simple, stupid. And he's not calling us stupid, but he just keep it simple, stupid. I mean, it's so much easier to just not overcomplicate. You already use FaceTime on your iPhone, probably weekly, right? You could do a FaceTime consultation. You could use Skype. Both of those are free. If you wanted to be able to record it, I would suggest you use Zoom. Zoom is what we use for all of my consultations. It's my favorite. I'm not going to try to remember what the cost is per month, but it's less than 2 trips to Starbucks. I can tell you that. So zoom.us, go check that out, okay? You could also do what is called an email consultation, which basically means that you just email back and forth ideas, plans, tips, tricks, whatever for the person that's wanting to pick your brain. I will tell you that for the majority of the whole wide world, we talk so much better than what we write. And we can also do it about 10 times faster and cover 10 times the amount of content if we have a conversation versus an email. But if you're somebody that really prefers email, you could also charge for an email consult and get it done that way. Okay, so we're not going to complicate this. You set it up with Skype, with FaceTime, with Zoom, or you can do an email consult. So next objection, Jennifer, I don't know how to take payments. Honey, you don't have to. There's this thing called PayPal. There's also a way of taking money now in Facebook. Come on now, creatives. God made you creative so that you could think outside of the box, so you could color outside of the lines, so you could think of doing something different. Have somebody send you a good old-fashioned check in the mail if you want to do it that way. But don't use the I don't know how to take money excuse as to why you're not going to the next level in your business. Some of you, this is your next level and you are resisting, and you're resisting out of fear. And here's what I want to tell you. Every next level in your business is going to feel scary. Everything out of your comfort zone is going to feel scary. Every time I coach inside a creator's roadmap and I teach women how to set up ad revenue and do affiliate marketing for the first time and perhaps sell an ebook or e-course, it feels very vulnerable. It feels like you're standing on the internet naked, just asking people to love me. Okay? That's what it feels like. Get over it, friends. Get over it. This is the only way your business is going to grow. Okay? So if you have people asking to pick your brain, they are offering you, I would love to set up a consult. Don't get stuck on something like how to take payments. Figure it out. If you want to be fancy, have your web person add a pay now button on your website. It'll take them 20 minutes to do. You pay them the money to do it and get it done. But don't use this tech stuff as your excuse as to why you're not. You have people out there who are waiting for you to say yes to consulting, to say yes to one-on-one coaching. They are dying to pick your brain. You are sitting on money and you're leaving it on the table every day of the week that you say no because you don't know how. So I'm encouraging you to get past that. The last objection that I know most people start out initially saying is, gosh, I feel really bad charging somebody. I can't charge somebody for this. Gosh, I feel awful about it. And here's what I want to say to you. Number one, you can be nice and still make money at the same time. All right. Some of you have a money story and you have a hang up on making money. I had an interview with Dr. Samantha Madising several months back. I will put it in the podcast show notes over at jenniferallwood.com. I want you to go listen to that podcast on having a money story. If you are someone who feels really guilty about taking money from people or making money from people, you've got some head work to do. And listen, we all had head work to do at one time. I still have head work to do. Okay, so you can be nice and you can make money. The two are not separate from one another. Go and listen to that podcast from Dr. Samantha. It'll change the way you think about money, okay? Remember that you've spent years and years and years and money and time, and you've invested to know what you do in your business, and that knowledge is so worth something. It's so worth something, okay? Keep in mind also that you cannot say yes to every request that comes your way. You just can't. Like eventually, if people keep requesting, you're gonna have to start being super selective on who you're going to allow access to your brain, even when it comes to family member and friends, okay? You have a family to feed, and I need for you to remember that. I know we have a woman in my inner circle. Her name is Danielle Brower, and Danielle owns, I think it's called Create Love Cuffs. Let me double check that. So sorry. Yeah, Create Hope Cuffs. There you go. Create Hope Cuffs. And Danielle has begun to start charging for people wanting to pick her brain. Listen, and she feels so liberated, was her email to me, and like such a boss for setting a good boundary. Do you know how proud of her I am? There are people that will pay for shortcuts, and you just have to buck up and understand that it's okay, that you are able to charge for the knowledge that you have inside your brain. So charging for a consultation or for coaching is just one of the 6 ways that I teach creative people how to make money in my Creators Roadmap class. We go tons deeper into it in Creators Roadmap. We also talk about ad revenue, email marketing, membership groups, ebooks, e-videos, a lot of the different ways that creatives could they could take what they know about how they make, how they DIY, what they create, what they paint, whatever. And they could seriously monetize it. Gone are the days where creative people are only making money when they're sitting down and physically making. If you guys will remember my story, it was 4 years ago when I was on a job site and I had 8 women painting for me in a house. And I thought, gosh, there has to be a better way. I am working my butt off to not make more money than this and to be managing this huge project. And the only way I can make more money is to have another huge project of the same size going on at the same time. That's going to be the only way I can scale my business and make more money. And it was a heartbreaking notion to me because I didn't want to manage women. I didn't want to manage a whole group. I didn't want to take on a whole second crew. And so the only way I could foresee growing my business anymore was to take my business online. And yet I did not know how to. I did not know what the steps were. I invested a lot of time and a lot of money to figure it out. And I want to help you creatives take the shortcut. All right. I have no problem offering you a course that's going to get you from A to B so much quicker than what you could get there on your own. So watch for Creators Roadmap to open on April the 29th. There's juicy bonuses, by the way, if you sign up in the first 24 hours. So if you want to be notified when Creators Roadmap comes back open, I want you to go to creatorsroadmap.com and just put your email there on the little page that's all set up for you. And we will be sending you out some free videos that will help you to look at your business a little more differently. So real quick before we end, I also want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to someone that has been a faithful podcast listener, and she has left us a review on iTunes. And so this is the review I have from Far More Worthy Than. Here's what she says. I've been looking forward to Jennifer's podcast every week. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 5 with 2 of my kids being special needs. This is one thing that I really enjoy during the me time that I do get. Every week, Jennifer's topics are spot on and what I need to hear. Hearing God speak to me through episode 42 is what I needed to hear, moment after moment of things just falling apart. Here I am pushing through my fears. I'm working on my first book based off my testimony of being a domestic violence survivor. I hope many others are just as blessed as I am by Jennifer's podcast. Oh my gosh. That just makes the hairs on my arms stand straight up. Thank you so much for that podcast review, Far More Worthy. I'm honored that you listen, and I'm just super excited for what you're doing and believe wholeheartedly in your project of helping other domestic violence survivors. So just a big shout out to you today. And every time one of you go over to iTunes and you leave us a review, my heart just leaps, and I appreciate it so much. There are so many talented women in this world who are sitting at home trying to figure out how to monetize the thing that they do. And I want to help them. My heart is for the woman who she has a gift. She doesn't know how to make money off of it. So if you will share this podcast with her, and if you have a chance, if you'll run over to iTunes and leave me a review, that would be amazing. So thank you guys again for being here. I appreciate you so much. Don't forget, you can always send us an email to podcast@jenniferallwood.com. And until next week, I want you to stay creative. Bye-bye. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. I'm so honored that you're here and that you just listen week in and week out and that you share the Jennifer Allwood Show with your friends and family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, or if you're an Android user, go download the Stitcher app and you can subscribe there so that you know every single week when a new episode releases. Also, if you have any time to leave us a review, these reviews are super important in getting guests for the show and sponsors for the show. And so we'd appreciate it if you have just a second to leave us a review. That would be amazing. Thank you guys again for being here. And until next week, stay creative.